My family's pissed off because these people get to walk in.
And not only do they get to walk in, but they get thousands of dollars on a monthly basis plus free room and shelter. What do you think is going to fix this problem?
Trump.
We're all here because we want change, obviously, Michael.
Yeah,
so,
of course.
And hopefully a few extra bucks in our pockets, because I don't think it's a real hard to ask, wanting our government in general to live within their means and allow us to keep a few extra bones in our pocket.
Having decentralized currency to begin with allows full transparency, and I wouldn't be able to cheat the next person.
So one of the Border Patrol representatives actually mentioned that San Diego was probably one of the scariest cities in all of the U.S.
I think that I've never seen him in person, and I think they're going to try and kill him. Absolutely. So I want to see him in person in my lifetime before they try to assassinate him again, because there's the potential for him to win California, and it's been a Dem state for forever. So I think people are finally waking up and realizing we're not in a great position.
I've always been a Republican, but I was never so proud to be a Republican as to when Trump became president.
Our country is the best country to ever exist, and we influence a lot of other countries. So if we're doing well, they will do well.
Digital assets will come to win if a right political person gets put into office.
A lot of people don't know how to do their homework and be exposed to what's put in all these bills. We have a bigger movement than what they can control. We the people, we have spoken up, and it's gonna get real.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we're here at the 2024 Trump rally in Coachella Valley, and the spirits are high, so is the temperature. But anyways, let's have some fun. Let's go. What are you expecting from today's event, the Trump rally here in the Coachella Valley?
I've heard a lot of his rallies on TV, but you know, I wanted to see this in person. But as far as what I expect, I just want to see the community get together and see what it's all about.
You want
the support.
You want that validation of what you believe in.
Yeah, because
right?
I thought he won last time. And my grandparents, they came through the border legally.
And so when you
immigrated, and my family's pissed off because these people get to walk in.
And not only do they get to walk in, but they get thousands of dollars on a monthly basis plus free room and shelter.
Exactly.
They're taking away from potential FEMA money when we're experiencing last week with what's going on with the multiple hurricanes across the East Coast.
They said they had no money. Where'd they go?
Maybe Ukraine, maybe some other NGOs. What do you think is going to fix this problem?
Trump.
We're all here because we want change, obviously, Michael.
Yeah,
so,
of course.
And hopefully a few extra bucks in our pockets, because I don't think it's a real hard to ask, wanting our government in general to live within their means and allow us to keep a few extra bones in our pocket.
I was in the military, so...
You were in the military too?
Yeah,
so was Kelly over here.
Oh, was that right?
Yes, sir.
Where were you at?
Army.
Oh, so was I. I was 12.
Now, what are you hoping for this 2024 election?
Get rid of all these political wars. And
that would be a great one. That's a great start.
Within the 3 years Biden has been president, all these wars and Putin be like shuffling his hands together, trying to scheme up some stuff. But with Trump, none of that has ever happened.
What are your thoughts, Jason, on the future of digital currency?
It might be good.
I think you're absolutely right. I think it unlocks a means of generating income that haven't been around ever.
Yeah, I believe that digital currency will definitely skyrocket.
Yeah. For what reasons?
Because of how the world is today and with inflation.
Hey, that's a good start. I honestly believe that inflation is a considerable driver for the adoption of potential new digital currencies. Basically, our purchasing power has been cut in half. So potentially, because of inflation, that could be a driver of the adoption of new decentralized currencies like Bitcoin, like XRP, like Ethereum. But I think it's going to take a generation like you, Jason, to be a driver of these new technologies. And so I commend you for coming in and participating in something like this, seeing what really is going on in the world, because there's a lot of kids your age, Jason, that are sitting behind a computer and just playing video games, hoping for the world to come to them while you're out here getting it. I think it's a beautiful thing. Good for you.
Yeah, because some people don't see the world, and people like me do see what's going on and understand all these problems that we have in our modern world.
I believe so too. I appreciate that, and I commend you. Thanks for joining me today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Man, how old are you?
12.
12 years old? Man, what do you want to be when you're older?
Definitely political world, maybe firefighter.
Maybe a little bit of both?
Yeah, serve our country.
What I think is really great about XRP is, to your point, it's immutable, it's transparent, it's extremely fast. You can settle transactions for less than a penny, and it's being adopted by some of the largest financial institutions in the world. It might even put Ripple, the shepherd of the XRP ledger, onto a platform that makes it potentially a World Bank status, a lender of last resort, which means it's a central bank of the central banks. Is that something that resonates with you?
Yes, only because I feel that the central bank itself has too much power over the financial institutions and how our economies and economies around the world are delegated and where they sit and stand globally.
Okay.
So it's not apples for apples, it's apples for oranges. And how you trade those is only relevant to those who want to do that trade, where it's not somewhat equal, where cryptocurrency, Ripple, is more unilaterally.
So do you believe that this is an opportunity to level set a playing field globally amongst many countries?
Of course.
Yeah?
Of course.
And what would be a benefit for that?
Fair and equal trade.
I love that.
And less military politics, right? So there'd be less common grounds to invade countries because what are we invading for? Not your minerals, your natural resources, or anything else, because we're sharing all that as a whole community. Having decentralized currency to begin with allows full transparency, and I wouldn't be able to cheat the next person. So it's all fair game with everybody, right? Because I see who's getting wet and everybody else is seeing what. Going to just the cryptocurrency market, we can expand to even NFTs. NFTs are a great idea only because it allows a creator of something to not only benefit financially off it, but they control what percentage at what point.
You're absolutely right. The royalties or how much they're to earn.
And my analogy would be if say you're just a painter at the beach and you have your little setup and you're doing paintings and selling it for $20, a millionaire can walk by, you would never know, purchase that for $5, turn around and sell it to his friends for $2-3 million, and he gets the profit.
Wow.
This is
how
all you
cool
get,
would that be?
Right?
Yeah.
So now when it's tracked, even though it's not tangible, you still see who bought it at what value.
And the originator or the creator of that could get that percentage.
That 5, 10, 20, 25% royalties, right?
Yeah.
And that's from sale to sale.
Yeah.
So that's a benefit of that too, because especially artists and people who are creators of things, they're the ones that actually move societies based on their ingenuities. Seldom seen, but often heard, right?
Jimmy, I appreciate what you're saying here, sir, and I'd love for you to conclude this conversation speaking to the camera with something that you're really passionate about, that's something that you would love to tell to the global audience here of what you aspire to achieve or would love the world to achieve in the short term or even the long term, whichever you prefer.
Short term would be to treat everybody fairly and love each other. Long term is to seek God, because God is in all things and he's the reason why we're here.
Sean, my name is Ray Fuentes. Would love to know more, sir, about what brings you here to the Donald Trump rally in Coachella Valley.
We came for Trump, obviously. He hasn't been in California doing a rally for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years.
4 years. Yeah, you're absolutely right. The last time I saw him was he came down Newport Boulevard in Newport Beach. So it's great to have him back. What are some of the pressing things that you would love for him to address while he's here?
He's going to address everything.
Yeah.
Everything that makes sense, that's what's going to happen today. I've seen every rally. That's what he does. The points are the economy and the illegal immigration, which is hurting our economy. So that's it.
Did you by chance happen to see, it just was released yesterday, it was on Tucker Carlson Network, it was the Jamie O'Keefe documentary called Line in the Sand. It was covering basically all of the illegal child trafficking, obviously it's all illegal.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, human trafficking, child trafficking. It was mind-blowing because Jamie actually hopped onto some of those trains and rode them from southern Mexico all the way up to central northern.
I didn't see that.
It was wild. Yeah, so it was just released yesterday. I highly recommend it. It's called Line in the Sand.
Line in the Sand.
Yeah, 100% underscores all the problems that are going on between especially between the San Diego Mexicali border. And what was really interesting was one of the Border Patrol representatives actually mentioned that San Diego was probably one of the scariest cities in all of the U.S. because of that reason. What are your thoughts?
I don't doubt it. I haven't been down there in a while, but I'm only about an hour north. So
Okay.
It's a little concerning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And before I let you go, Sean, and thank you for sharing your time with me. What are your thoughts on the future of digital currencies while we're here? Because Donald Trump did mention about himself being a proponent for this immersive cryptocurrency.
And he's also got a coin coming out Wednesday.
The Liberty coin,
yeah,
I believe?
the American Liberty, something like that. But anyways, yeah, he's for it. He knows it's the future. It's going to take more time to get everything buttoned up, but it is the future.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think because of, with the rate of inflation that we're seeing and the rate of money printing here in the U.S. and of course just all of the inflation that we're seeing globally because it affects all countries worldwide. But yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Our world is in a dire crisis and needs some stable, sound currency. What do you think would bring us back to a sound currency?
That's a tough one.
What about if our
stop printing all the money?
That for sure. But what if because our
backed by gold?
There we go. I was going to say, what if our currency was pegged to a specific commodity or an asset?
Backed by gold. Let's go back to the gold standard. We could start there at least. Have our money worth something.
You're absolutely right. We were taken off that in the Nixon era, 1970. That could be the reinstate of sound currency. You're absolutely right. Sean, appreciate your time. Thank you for joining me, sir. I'm just curious, asking a couple questions, trying to get a pulse check on what's going on in the community here. We've got obviously a line to just get on the buses here to go to the Trump rally in Coachella Valley. That's nearly over a quarter mile long, maybe even a half. What are your thoughts? Why are you here? What are you hoping to gain from this event?
I think that I've never seen him in person, and I think they're going to try and kill him. Absolutely. So I want to see him in person in my lifetime before they try to assassinate him again. And I just want to see how many actual people are here, and it shows that he's got a lot of support in California.
So you want to cheer him on before there's like a Tupac or a Nipsey Hussle moment?
For sure. If he wins, they're going to try and kill him off.
There's been over 2 attempts.
Yeah.
At least I think over 2.
Yeah,
two
that we know of, but I'm sure that there's been many other close calls that they keep silent.
Yeah.
But I'm just in awe at how many people showed up because there's so much controversy over the Coachella Valley and people that don't support him. But I really think it's a bunch of bullshit because obviously look at the amount of people that showed up.
How many?
Thousands and thousands.
I read multiple articles saying the Dems are against this. How dare he show up unannounced? Yada yada yada. Why do you think there's that kind of publications out there?
Because there's the potential for him to win California, and it's been a Dem state for forever. So I think people are finally waking up and realizing we're not in a great position.
I think you're right.
Even if he may not win the electoral votes, I think that he has a strong chance of winning the popular vote. Mm-hmm. And if that were to happen and there was some scandalous shit that goes down, I think that we might have a chance to fight for our way back in.
What type of scandalous stuff do you think could potentially occur? Are we talking about a rigged election like 2020?
Absolutely. We're talking about the late ballot dumps. We're talking about the Sharpie markers being presented to the Republican cities. We're talking about any way that people can try the dead people coming back to life to vote. Those are the things that just aren't adding up. And I believe
excuses for Florida and North Carolina and how they're not going to be able to vote.
And they're going to get all of a sudden they're going to open the floodgates to everybody to have extra time to be able to vote because all of a sudden these people aren't able to because the natural disasters. It's just real convenient what's happening.
What an interesting perspective on incorporating the occurrence of the natural disasters. When I was at the Tucker Carlson, exactly.
Hashtag cloud seeding, hashtag silver iodine.
Yeah, we'll leave that for another interview.
Hashtag to be continued.
Mm-hmm. Yes. But basically, we're obsessed with Trump. I've always been a Republican, but I was never so proud to be a Republican as to when Trump became president. And then I just felt like flying our American flag and being patriotic just stood for something so much more. So I just think that this is beautiful.
A lot more money when he was president.
Oh my God. Interest rates were better and gas prices were better and grocery prices were better and all the things.
Housing prices were better.
Yes. They absolutely were.
And life was just better.
So honestly, I'm just happy to come out here and actually see with my own eyes how many supporters there are because they make it out to be like, oh, he's going to be shunned if he goes to Coachella Valley. And it's bullshit. People are coming from near and far.
actors in for his rallies.
Yeah.
Come on. Last election, more votes than any standing president in the United States, like in the history of the United States.
And then all of a sudden, Biden got 10% more?
Like,
What?
That's not
Damage
accurate.
control with
It's
Obama
smoke
now.
and mirrors.
Yeah.
Yeah. If before I let you girls go, and thank you for sharing your time with me, is there any closing statements that you'd like to share with the broad audience? This community is global.
If it is global, our country is one of the best countries ever to exist. So
You mind saying that to the camera?
our country is the best country to ever exist, and we influence a lot of other countries. So if we're doing well, they will do well.
Exactly.
It's very
and
true.
we want to make America great again.
Where are you from, sir?
I'm from El Salvador.
El Salvador?
Yes,
What
sir.
brings you here to the United States?
When my family brought me here when I was 7 years old,
Okay.
this country was good.
Yeah.
I went to school. I was raised properly. And eventually I made it to my adult age. With 18, I started working. Ever since then, everything America offers has been great.
Yeah. Now, fast forward to today where you're seeing thousands of undocumented illegal immigrants coming through the border. How does that make you feel when you did things, you took your approach so many years ago?
There is a problem with this process that this President Biden and Kamala are doing, just bringing in people without going through the real process. We came in with the real process. We came in with a visa, and that is the problem that we have nowadays.
Yeah.
They are taking our jobs, and they don't even want to work because they don't care if they get fired or not.
They just want a free
Yeah, they
paycheck.
want that, exactly. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it's not even like they don't even need a job to get that paycheck at times.
No, I hear that they're getting $1,500 a week.
Yeah, just to show up here.
Yeah.
So to hear about how they're getting this free compensation, free room and board with some of the hotels that are designated to these migrants, it's just really a tough pill to swallow, knowing that you've got hardworking citizens like you that came through the legal way, and it's just a very troublesome time. What are you expecting, Nelson, to gain from coming to this rally? Are you hoping to hear some specific policies from Trump or his supporters? Are you just here to get entertained? Are you here to sweat? Because it is over almost 100
It
degrees.
is. But I tell you what, I'm retired and I'm able to live the American dream.
You're here living your living American dream, Nelson.
Exactly. And what am I expecting? I think everybody here knows what Trump's policies are, which is good for America.
Yeah. Good.
Yes, sir. And when Trump speaks, everybody on the whole world listens.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need somebody that's gonna
We need a leader that people are going to listen to.
a leader to lead all these nonsense wars that are going right now.
Yeah, I completely agree, Nelson. I think our country is in dying need of someone that can take the reins of local government, global leaders, and really rein in what's rightfully ours and protect our nation. I feel like we're losing power. We're losing a voice in this global arena. And Nelson, is there any words that you'd like to share to an audience that's listening that is global? If you had an opportunity to say something that you have close to your chest, or words that you've really been wanting to share, what would some of those be?
I used to be a Democrat.
Okay.
After Obama, I became Republican. And for that one reason, that Obama is the one that started all this nonsense. And what I would tell that my friends Democrats to think, don't let the media brainwash them.
Where do you watch your news then? Where do you consume your content?
I normally go to YouTube. I don't listen to CNN or the Spanish network.
No telenovelas?
Oh, no. No, none of that.
One Nation under XRP. What brings you here to the Trump rally in Coachella Valley on the hottest day of the year?
Not too bad. We're thinking 104, but it's like 99, so
Okay.
we're sticking there. Big MAGA fan since 2017. Never gave about politics. Cared about politics in my younger years.
Yeah.
And as soon as I started reading into some of the Federal Reserve, which cryptocurrency, Ripple, Bearable Guy 123 brought me to that surface, which then I started learning about corruption amongst that world.
Yeah.
And then I stopped following the cartoon bear at some point, which was good. But I was,
So you
I was
grew
deep
up.
into that.
Yeah.
I was deep in. I realized it was probably a Nick or whatever that left, or Hammer Toe, one of those guys, right?
Oh,
that ran
MAGA.
Hamilton. So it was probably one of those guys that ran it. And then I said it taught me a lot about things that were happening in the world outside of cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
And what we know of the Federal Reserve, central banking system, Christine Lagarde, that whole world, IMF, has a lot of influence in the cryptocurrency space.
Yesterday, Chris Larson just gave $1 million to
No comment.
Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
But if this company has the legs to become potentially the World Bank or a lender of last resort, they're gonna need to play both sides of the fence. What are your thoughts?
Of course. Too public.
Yeah.
Play both sides.
Yeah.
Too public.
I'm curious to see what happens with all of this. And to your point, you're talking about Ripple being the oldest player in the game. But with the least adoption, why is there such a laggard from the developer community? You mentioned Matthew Hamilton, who's one of the leading developers, plus a very big advocate in the space, regardless of Ripple.
Great guy. I met him at 2020. Great person in person. Great guy, but it's fun to have fun on Twitter.
You would have had a good time at Apex because it
was good.
Yeah, I had a breakfast with him and Karma Coverage, and they're both one sitting on.
Oh yeah, I haven't met Karma yet, but oh man, those X spaces, he's all over.
Yeah, he's a good guy. What are your thoughts? Do you think digital currency has the legs to become something greater than what it is? You got endorsements from Donald Trump in both parties.
Yeah, I know nothing. I'm just a kid who learned about central banking ecosystem and said, hey, I'm going to start putting some liquidity into that world.
Yeah.
If you follow Mr. Poole and you follow some of those things, they have Donald with the gold bar on some of those posts. Could be influential. He predicted it, but he also maybe didn't predict anything.
Yeah.
But I followed that stuff, like I said, for many years. I was too deep into it, pulled myself out and realized it's going to be a waiting game. When Donnie, I think, won in 2016, I always say this, if Hillary Clinton won the election, we'd be millionaires already with XRP.
Yeah.
But something changed so that, I don't know what it was, I don't know anything again, but something changed to where I think it'll be a multi-asset ecosystem, not one or two to rule them all.
What do you think sparked the change from Gary Gensler, who was a big advocate of Ripple in his MFT days, to now where he's just,
Last day, Jay Clayton, last day in his office, he landed the SEC lawsuit.
Yeah.
It just happened, I forget the guy's name, the Indian guy, just left the SEC again.
Okay.
On his last day,
Yep.
he continued the lawsuit. Jay Clayton's a Trump administration SEC advisor. So you have to look into it as it's an oxymoron. Nobody knows. So it's deception, but at the same time, nobody knows what's going to happen.
Wow. Thoughts on what's going to be the result of this election? You think we're going to see any type of politics going on?
Absolutely. I think it's going to be in California. We always say our vote doesn't count. But if you look out to this whole world here, we're going to have a good show out.
There's no way.
People will start voting.
Yeah,
there's
no way she's going to win with this type of show out and turnout.
Yes. And my favorite with David, if I talk directly to you for a second, is he, for many years with Brad Garlinghouse, publicly tweeted, when nobody was really aware to the Donald maybe getting a large following thing in 2017, 2016, they were very public about their love for the Biden administration, the Clinton administration. So I think they're starting to learn, like you said earlier, you need to play both sides of the alley. And they played one side a little bit too hard until Donald won and things changed, right?
Yeah.
And so I think they're learning as a company, slowly but surely, play that middle ground will get you further than taking one side.
One last comment on the topics of if for XRP or Ripple to become what we may think it'd be, if you're talking about a top-down approach, do you think there's still a need for a bottom-up approach from we the people to advocate for these emerging assets, or is it really only going to be driven by the influence of institutional investors?
What we want to believe, this comes down to polysign, only accredited investors, right?
So you think there's a two-tiered system?
It's got to be. It always has been that way. I think it's going to be digital assets will come to win if a right political person gets put into office. You saw Donnie 6 months ago started following cryptocurrency because he sees a benefit for it. And Kamala, Tim Walz, they do not like it. So I think it's always going to be the accredited investors who are most influential.
Yeah.
In the markets, the institutionals, the hedge funds, those guys aren't going away. The dollar's going to stay. So a lot of stuff we've learned with crypto is dollar's going to go away, it's blah, 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 new reserve currency. I think a lot of that stays pretty similar, but there might be a benefit for digital assets in the future.
Mr. One Nation Under XRP,
Slow.
It's been a pleasure speaking with you, sir.
You as well, Mr. Fuentes. Saw you in 2021. And shout out to Vet XO. Love you, buddy.
A lot of people don't know how to do their homework and be exposed to what's put in all these bills. So when they want to bring up a border bill, there's multiple reasons why Trump wanted that bill killed. It wasn't just for him killing the border bill. There's all kinds of crap that's put in underneath that bill. People don't want to read that whole bill. There's multiple reasons in that bill that not being disclosed to we the people. Number two, what I was discussing earlier was in 2013, Obama passed the gay rights activist bill, and in that bill, he passed, it was legalized in the United States for the news networks to propagandize all the American people. People look up the bill, educate yourself, and pay attention to what's going on. It's not a joke. This is real.
What were your thoughts on the take of this rally?
I think it's a movement, even in the state of California, as liberal as it is. You're showing more compassion for Trump than what's been done in the past. We have a bigger movement than what they can control. We the people, we have spoken up, and it's gonna get real.
Cool. Mike, thank you for sharing your time with me, sir. Appreciate it. I take this back from you? Cool. What were your thoughts on today's rally?
That's pretty good. Good information. Wish it would have been planned better. We stayed in one place way too long.
Did you? Yeah.
Too long. Other than that,
I don't know if they anticipated to have 100,000 people here today.
Yeah, I don't think they did.
With one entrance.
I know the mayor was saying the people don't want him here, but I guess they were wrong.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, the people wanted him here. You mentioned that you watch YouTube. Is that where you consume most of your content and information?
99% of it now.
Why is that?
I find it mostly reliable, and you have people who you could actually talk to and get your sources to feed back to you and actually have conversations with some of the people.
Do you, by chance, consume any information around digital assets?
No, I spend most of the time growing corn.
You're growing corn?
Just for fun.
Okay.
So I've been having fun doing that.
That's an interesting hobby.
Got to eat something. Plus, we need more people to learn how to grow their own food, maybe hunt a little bit. It's getting a little too weird with all the chemicals everybody's consuming.
Yeah.
Making people irritable.
Maybe that's definitely it.
That's what it feels like.
Was there anything that you appreciated hearing from Trump or wish that he might have brought up?
I think especially here in California, like the Second Amendment, I would like to hear more pushback on the stuff they have because they're pulling so much from us. I'm legal one day and then tomorrow I got something now I'm a criminal.